Hi! So I went out camping in my Culla, which is a thermal cocoon, I guess, for a hammock. And I just wanted to give a quick sort of product review of the thing. Now I'm wearing it, which is kind of cool. So you can zip it apart and it turns into a poncho. And I just noticed as I was putting this on that the ventilation flap for when you have it on your hammock actually doubles as a pocket. So you can put goodies in here. It's right here. You can just stick stuff in here if you want to. I had not noticed that before. I actually struggled to find the ventilation when I was in the thing because I'd never used it before. I mean, now I know, but I didn't when I was using it. So I have a few pictures here. So I first put up my actual hammock. Yes, there is a cat playing with a string attached. There are many strings attached to this thing and the cats are loving it. So I put up the hammock and then I put a guy wire, which is included, and I put that on top, sort of like I would have done for the bug mesh. Now, obviously, I don't need the bug mesh right now. It's too cold. So I think if you need this, you don't need the bug mesh and vice versa, I think. So I put that ridgeline on top and tied it as securely as I can. You don't have to make any knots. You can just sort of wrap it and fasten it with the hook. And then I strung this, which was then zipped up as a tube. So you unhook the carbiner and you thread it on, clip it, drag it all along, and you fasten it at both ends. Now I used another string as a sort of drawstring to tighten that and pulled the ends tighter, so sort of an iris effect thing. And hi Pat, yes, it's mine. And pulled it as tight as I could, pretty much. I wasn't too afraid sort of it being stifling in there. Like I said, I didn't pay that much attention to the idea of the ventilation. I had plenty of air in there. Once that was done, I opened the zipper on the side and threaded in my the spreader bars. I used the Culla V3. Which has spreader bars on the underside to sort of stretch it out. And then when that was done, I put on the tarp. So then my setup was complete. Now, I will readily admit that I wasn't quite prepared for how cold that even was going to get. It got to be about 5 degrees centigrade during the evening. And I had a fairly light blanket as my only other sort of protection in there. I should really have had a sleeping bag, not because of sort of the warmth itself, but because I needed to stick my feet into something. If I'd had an overquilt with a pocket sort of for my feet, that would have done a lot. Sleeping with skin against the sort of nylon on the actual hammock itself also can get a bit uncomfortable, so I had a mummy liner that I used, sort of a bag liner for the sleeping bag. It's just sort of a folded silk sheet with 2 seams on it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't add that much warmth, but at least you don't have skin to nylon contact, which worked out better. I was fairly comfortable. I would have had a really, really bad time if I'd not had this thing strapped around it. So I would say that that's a positive result. I wasn't too fond of the compression bag. It does compress this thing quite substantially, but I would have liked to see it compress it a bit more. I don't know exactly if I can do something with that or if I have to get another bag if I want to push it even further. Now this doubles, like you can see, as a poncho. And the underside then becomes an underquilt for the hammock. I haven't tested that one out yet. but I will later on, like in the spring or something. But I wanted to just put this out here. I adore this. There's a lot that CRUA does that really appeals to me, and I have a lot of their products by now. But that's just because they appeal to me and the way that I do my camping. So this was nice. If you have any specific questions, feel free to pop them in the comments or on Twitter or something. I don't really mind. And I will try to answer as best I can. This was a great Kickstarter. I look forward to the next one. And I hope that I'll see you out in the forest. Bye, everyone.